guys. This is a little bit different from how it usually is, but for today, this is going to be a special Bitter Geeks Podcast episode. For this episode, it's going to be me taking center stage for today, along with our other person here, Rebecca.
Hey, it's me, Rebecca. You know who I am, I guess, if you listen to the podcast regularly.
I'm Al. You can find me at Almost Al on Twitter.
And you can find me at Rebecca_MJ12 on Twitter.
Okay. So what this episode is going to be is basically an episode that centers around a lot of the things that are going on, not just, I guess, in comic book stuff, but also just other related things in terms of Black creators, Black film, Black comics, Black cinema, anything that has to do with, the African American experience. And I wanted to do this podcast because I felt, it's just something to break up a few things here and there. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing I guess we could talk about is the situation going on with Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know or, have been living under a rock, so what happened with Ray Fisher is that he was essentially let go or pretty much written out of the Flashpoint movie due to him fighting against Walter Hamada and the abuse that he let go during the filming of Justice League. This also includes putting blame on Jeff Johns as well as Joss Whedon for their actions that they did during the filming of Justice League. And for that, he got kicked out, which is a damn shame because, well, it's just another example of Black people, Black creators, and just Black people in general getting knocked out of their places simply for standing up against what is oppressing them.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, not a lot of people, I'm not going to say that broadly, but some of the people I've seen on Twitter criticizing Ray have come at it from this perspective that, he should have not said anything or not pushed back as publicly as he did if he didn't want to get kicked out of the Flash movie. But the thing is that, Black people hear that all the time, that, maybe you should just, go along with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I feel like there's definitely, a racial aspect to, the way that this has played out. And, Hamada is a man of color as well as Ray is. But, specifically, Ray is, a Black man, and that's a very, unique experience. And then there's also, the money issue, because Hamada is very rich and powerful, and Ray was more coming from, if I understand correctly, he was from, a theater background, right?
Yeah, he was in theater first.
Yeah, so he's not as famous. He doesn't have the money and the influence that some other people involved in the situation have, and so that's really put him at disadvantage. So it's really hard to see, how he's been treated, and it's really disappointing, especially because, I guess a lot of people had hoped that Warner Brothers was changing since they announced the Snyder Cut, and we thought that, that Ray and everyone else who got hard done by would be everything would be rectified, by releasing the Snyder Cut, but we're seeing that that's not really the case, and there's still a lot of problems in DC films and also in Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it's just a shame how everything has turned out the way it did. Ray has been speaking adamantly about everything. He's been able to speak out on what has been going on without really saying any names in particular, because it's obvious that Ray is not the first person that this has happened to while on the set of Justice League. There has been talks from all kinds of people, film people, behind the scenes people, lighting people. They have been, speaking out about what has been going on with Joss Whedon and also what has been going on with Jeff Jones. So there's adamant proof that shows that these people are not fit to be where they are, but because of their influence and their power, they're put into this like whoopifying effect where they are above criticism. And it's a shame, especially with Joss Whedon, because there's plenty of proof that says that he is, an asshole. Like, we've had his wife come out and say how abusive he is. We've had multiple women on the set of his different, shows that he's attached to. They've come out and said that he's a horrible person. It's like overwhelming proof that shows that Joss Whedon is a horrible person. And yet, and still, he was able to get onto Justice League and spread that toxicity onto the set as well. And it's just a shame to see it go as far as it did.
Yeah. And like it's really so weird because, like you said, like there's so much evidence for it, but there are still people who are like, Ray hasn't given any details, he hasn't proven anything. Like,
I mean,
and like, how many other people have been like, Joss Whedon did this, Joss Whedon did that, and like it's well documented. Like,
yeah.
It's not like Ray is saying something that like no one else has ever said before,
Yeah, and also there'd be no point in him lying. I mean, there's plenty proof.
It's not even like he has anything to like gain from this necessarily. You know what I mean? Other than like respect from like good people,
Yeah,
but, like,
I mean, yeah, go on.
Yeah, like he's not rich, he's not famous. It's not like he's getting high profile from this. Like the media is not like blowing up this story, and I'm sure he knew that it wasn't going to blow up because he's like not a high profile actor. So, like, a lot of people say like when somebody comes forward with like an allegation or something, they're like, oh, you're just trying to like get something from this, when a lot of the time the victim literally stands to gain nothing, and like actually like their career and stuff is actually in danger by them coming forward. So
I sometimes think of it like, I remember I saw a tweet once about how someone was comparing Ray Fisher's situation to Journey Smollett. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right.
It's Smollett.
Yeah, the Smollett situation where he faked being attacked by a racial duo of MAGA people, when in reality it was all fabricated, and when it was all staged, and yeah, but I know I've heard some people make weird comparisons to that, which is in no way, shape, or form the same. Because the difference is that there is overwhelming proof from multiple people that have said exactly what Ray is saying. So you can't really compare the two.
Yeah, like you can't compare those things. Like, I haven't seen people make that comparison, but like, that's crazy that like people would be like, it's the same thing. Cause like, don't get me wrong, like, wasn't Smollett like, he was like more famous than Ray is, I think.
Because he was on Power.
Was it? I think it was the other one, Empire.
Oh yeah, Empire. I'm thinking of two different shows. Yeah.
Yeah, like Empire was like a big show, wasn't it? And like he was like high profile. So like, again, it's not the same kind of situation.
Yeah, it's real different. My biggest worry from all this is that Ray Fisher's going to get the same treatment that John Boyega did. When John Boyega spoke out against a lot of the police brutality, in favor of Black Lives Matter, there was fear that he would end up being blacklisted out of Hollywood, which, it's kind of sad to see. I hope we see more of John Boyega, in other films, but it's there's a chance it could be the similar situation with Ray, with these black actors getting blacklisted out of Hollywood due to them speaking out against, a a boys' club, so to speak, and that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, I feel like I hope that kind of like going back to what I was saying earlier about like the only thing to gain from this is like respect. Like I feel like there are people in Hollywood, maybe not like a lot of people, because like as the years go by, we're realizing more and more how screwed up it is over there. But
Yeah.
like there are people in Hollywood who are like making films that like they're looking for people who are really like stand up people, and
Yeah.
like black filmmakers who will also want to work with other black creatives who are principled and who are standing up for the right things as well. So
Yeah.
in that regard, at least, I'm like optimistic about it, that like the right people are going to look for the right people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Jordan Peele, Coogler, the one who made Black Panther. I can't believe I forgot his name.
Ryan Coogler?
Yeah, Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think I guess you're right. I guess there is still like hope for Ray and John.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only time will tell.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I doubt that this whole situation will get, fixed by. I doubt all of this will be fixed anytime soon. And with the direction that DC is currently going, I think the Snyder Cut will probably be the last time we see either Ray Fisher as Cyborg or Cyborg in general, except in like Doom Patrol. But like in terms of like the cinematic universe, it might be the last time.
Yeah, I think it might be as well, but like I'm not as cynical, I guess, as I've seen some other people be about it. Like, not that there's anything wrong with being cynical, like, it is understandable to feel that way, but like I'm still not sure what's going to happen, because it's very hard for me, at least, to like see it as like any kind of predictable stuff, because Warner Brothers is like, oh, we're releasing the Snyder Cut, and they're hyped, like TNT and stuff is like hyping up Man of Steel and BVS and all this other stuff, and then they're giving James Wan another Aquaman, but then Wonder Woman 84 had those bad politics, and then Suicide Squad looks questionable.
Like edgy ad,
and then
like an edgy asshole exploded.
Like everything, just like I'm just really confused by all of the different messages that I'm getting right now from like Warner Brothers as a whole, because they're finally embracing Snyder's vision on one hand, but then on the other hand they're doing other stuff, and then they're James Wan is getting good treatment, which I'm happy about, but like it just feels like they're being very, very disjointed, because while they're encouraging certain people, they are treating other people poorly, and I just don't know what's going to happen because of that.
Yeah,
So,
it's all confusing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess all we can do is just wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess that's a good way to move on to the next thing, I guess. So, the next thing, in regards to this whole podcast, the Superman and Lois trailer just dropped. And as much as a lot of people are still hyping that up, saying, oh, it's amazing, oh, this might be better than Snyder's Man of Steel and blah, 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 and all that bullshit, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about what had happened behind the scenes with the the black writer getting fired off of the show because she wanted to implement more people of color into the actual series. And that just makes me worry for, how are they going to handle diversity if they kicked off someone who wanted diversity into the actual show?
Yeah. I'll be honest, like, I didn't watch the trailer. Like, I saw, like, in the group chat you guys talking about it, but I didn't, like, actually, like, click on it. All I know is that, like, I just know a couple things from the conversation. But
yeah, it's very Man of Steel inspired.
Yeah, I saw like the wedding, like them, like the bridal.
Yeah, the wedding picture.
And then like Clark apparently saying that he wants to get drunk or something. Like, I don't know. But yeah. On the topic of like, the questionable behind the scenes stuff, like that's definitely like on my mind when I think about the show. Because, it is like a really sketchy situation that they fired a black woman because she was like, the diversity
is too white.
Yeah. And then honestly, the thing that was like the stupidest part of it for me was that I think she said one of the showrunners or something. The showrunner, was it?
Yeah, I think. So I actually got the tweets of what she wrote. So,
okay.
Yeah. So she was saying that she got word that her contract wouldn't be extended. Her services weren't needed anymore. And, they were saying that her plots were subpar and all of that. But essentially she was defending the Bechdel. Is that how you pronounce it? The Bechdel test?
I think it's either Bechdel or Bechdel. I'm not sure. I think it's Besh.
Yeah, Bechdel test, where, just seeing how it fares with that test and how it includes, black people and people of color and different walks of life. But the problem is that, I think my issue, the most part is, and I guess this is getting into spoiler territory, I don't know if anyone who's watching this doesn't want to be spoiled, but yeah. I'm just going to say that there is a black character who is played as an integral villain for the series. And my problem with this villain is that it's like, because when I read the leaked script, the way the character was written was just so, it pissed me off. Because it's not a very good role that you would want to put your only black character into. And, reading more of it as I went, it felt wrong to me.
Yeah, it's always sketchy when, like, the only people of color in something are the bad guys.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the stupidest part for me was that her boss was like, we can't find actors of color in Canada. Like, I was like,
I remember that. I remember they said that.
I was like, are you serious? like it's that kind of racism. You know what I mean? Like we already knew it was racist, but it's that kind of racism.
Like, how do you not find black people in Canada?
Yeah.
Like,
and just, he said people of color too. Like, I'm like, you can't find anyone with like melanin in Canada. I mean, oh my God.
Like, Jesus. Like, at least one, I don't know. But yeah, it's just racism.
Yeah, it's just excuses, which are completely ridiculous, and anyone with a brain can see through. But, yeah. And it's just really, it's so, like, weird for me, just from, like, a historical standpoint,
mm-hmm.
to even use the excuse that it's in the Midwest and there's not many black people out there. You can still do that because, like, there were black people, exodusters, who, like, went to the Midwest,
exactly.
to, establish farms and stuff. So it's not like you can even say, like, well, there just wouldn't be any black people there. Like, you can put black people in the Midwest.
You could literally put black people anywhere. Like,
yeah.
we don't have to follow the very strict rubric of world history. I'm sure there was like maybe a couple different people of color in different places.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just ridiculous to say that, you know, there just wouldn't be any. Like, oh my god, like we're not saying the whole town has to be people of color, but just, you know, realistically, there's usually at least a few people of color around the place. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I think it just goes into this whole thing about how they want Superman, like the lore and the story of Superman, to stay in this sort of bubble where they want him to be the true definition of an American icon. You know, living on a farm, having 2 kids, having a wife, that sweet apple pie life, that like the so-called American dream.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it feels so bubbled in. Like you can't really. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels very convoluted.
How do you mean convoluted?
Like, when I say convoluted, I mean as in it all feels like it is. You know how in those like shows, like you know I know a better way to describe it. Basically, describe like the 40s. You know how the 40s had those people, black and white, going, well, howdy there, neighbor, or well, hi there, neighbor, fancy weather we're having today. And they got the Poindexter glasses, and everyone, you know, they look like their name would be Dick and Harry.
Yeah, like the small town nostalgia, like.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, where it's like they're trying to make Superman into that sort of realm of, you know, modern, perfect American nostalgia on the farm and, you know, roughing it on the wild and being all that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's very out of date when you just think, oh, it's just a bunch of white people on a farm. Like, there have been plenty of people of color who have been on the farms. You know, there have been black people, there have been Latino people, there have been Asians, there have been all types of races who can be able to take care of a farm. So to say that, you know, Smallville, Kansas is just predominantly white, it just feels so out of date to me.
And like I can definitely like see it being predominantly white, but like the problem is that like if it's just, you know, 100% white or like 99% white, you know, because like even Man of Steel had like there was like wasn't there a black kid in like in their school or something?
I think so. I'm not. I gotta look back at it, but yeah, I get what you're saying. You know, Man of Steel like, also had predominantly white.
But yeah, it's definitely like trying to call back to this like outdated thing that like I don't know why, because like I feel like it's just not like even relatable, you know? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how many people would even want to like. I guess maybe it's like a vacation thing where they're like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we could all like live on a farm? Get away from the
black people.
Like if we could get on the farm and swap pies with the neighbors, you know, like. But yeah, it's just. I guess that's the purpose of the show. Maybe is to be like escapism or something. But I mean, Superman isn't really like superheroes are escapism on like in a certain way.
Yeah.
But they're also supposed to like address problems and, you know, do stuff. Other like I don't know. I haven't read the pilot episode script. I kept meaning to, but I never got around to it because I just didn't care, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna save you the trouble. It's ass.
Yeah, I heard it's ass, which is why I wanted to read it. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't It
Well,
just seems like a sketchy show, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, I'm probably still going to end up watching it just to see how it goes. I want to start doing, reaction videos to, shows like like I did with the Supernatural season finale. I kind of want to do that with this show, and I want to see how it progresses. Like if I can give it one good thing, it would be that the cinematography looks really nice, but I don't know if that's the trailer's cinematography or if that's going to be the show's cinematography.
Mm-hmm. If the show has nice cinematography, that will definitely make it more bearable to watch, because I love cinematography, so.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's because it's also going to be on HBO Max, so I guess they kind of boosted its budget a bit.
Oh, geez, I thought it was CW.
I think it's going to be on the CW and HBO Max, I think.
Okay.
So I guess that's why the trailer looks like it has like a higher cinematography budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's probably why.
This is a little bit off topic, but Black Lightning, for those of you who don't know, Black Lightning is ending after this season coming up. I think it's February 3rd. The final season is going to premiere.
Yeah, I've heard.
And then Painkiller is getting a spinoff, but I thought that was going to be on CW, or is that HBO Max?
I think Painkiller is going to be on CW.
Okay, I thought that I heard that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I really of all the characters of Black Lightning to get a spinoff. I did not expect Painkiller to be the one to get the spinoff.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't even see it coming. When I heard about it, I was like, wait, what? Because I was out of the loop. But if anybody, I thought Jennifer or
oh yeah, Thunder.
Wait, I'm mixing up the names now. But yeah, Thunder and Grace would probably I would be imagining would get a show or something.
Yeah, I felt Anissa.
Anissa, yeah, Anissa.
Yeah, I thought Anissa was gonna definitely be the one to get the spinoff because it Anissa and Anissa and Jennifer, calling it Thunder and Lightning.
That would be cool, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I mean, hopefully Anissa gets to be. No, sorry, not Anissa. Jen. Hopefully Jen gets to be in the Painkiller show. But
yeah,
it's weird that they did that, and it's also frustrating because they didn't really give a reason. When I read the article, at least I read one article about it, and they didn't give a reason why Black Lightning was going to be ending after this season. They did mention that the showrunner was accused of I'm not sure if it was sexual assault or sexual harassment, but there was an allegation, and I thought okay, well, you can always fire the showrunner and then get a new person, but instead they ended the show, and so I thought okay, is it because of that? But the same showrunner is in charge of the Painkiller show, so it's not even they're trying to fire this person because they literally gave him another job. So I don't understand what the situation is, and I really hope that they don't keep him on to run the Painkiller show because obviously I don't want somebody who is a criminal to be running this show.
Yeah, I agree. I actually did not know about that. I didn't know about the accusation part. I just thought they just canceled it. But wow, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, so actually, speaking of CW, since we're on that topic, Batwoman actually premiered, I think, last week.
Oh, did you watch it?
I did not. I did actually. No, I didn't. I didn't have the time to. I'll get to it at some point, but From what I hear, I'm hearing like two different things. Like on one hand, I'm hearing that the Batwoman with the new Batwoman, like she did a phenomenal job as the character, and then on the other side, I'm hearing it's cringe SJW stuff, and clearly I'm more in line with the first half than the second one because every time I hear some neckbeard talking about, oh, it's SJW, oh, it's something for the feminist agenda. I always just roll my eyes and be like, yeah, I got to see this for myself.
Yeah, literally anytime anyone says it was SJW feminist, I'm just like, all right, so there was nothing wrong with it then.
Pretty much. Javicia Javicia Leslie, I think that's how you pronounce it. So yeah, like when I first heard that she was going to, like in general, I was like pretty excited to hear that, Batwoman was gonna have a black actress play her. Like at one hand, like at one point, I was like, you could have just got someone else to replace Ruby Rose and just kept it moving. But the idea to replace the entire actress, it just feels like you're just throwing one person into another suit and calling it a day.
Sorry, can you like elaborate on that? I think I kind of didn't follow.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Well, like, so with Ruby Rose leaving the role and then having an entirely new person come in, I was sort of excited that we got to have a black character in the Bat family. Well, we already have black characters in the Bat family, but I mean, having a debut like this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it feels like this is CW once again doing that thing where they just create their own characters and think that everyone will just easily accept it as such, like similar to with Felicity in Arrow. But I don't know, like on one hand I'm happy that we have a black Batwoman. On the other hand, it feels like it's just more of CW's crap.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I also feel like split about it in terms of my like opinion, because like Batwoman is like synonymous with Kate Kane. Like, no one else has ever been Batwoman. It's not like a mantle that gets passed down, and
Yeah.
like with Ruby Rose, like I understand, like I heard that like there's a controversy because she's not Jewish, and
Yeah.
so like this, like her leaving the show provided an opportunity to bring a Jewish person into the role, and just kind of, because they only had one season, so like it's kind of easier to replace an actor if they haven't been there that long. With bringing in like a totally new person and like not like her not being Kate Kane and her being like a completely new character, like there's like, it's nice that they brought a black woman because like I also agree, like it is cool that they did that, but at the same time, like it is like, okay, this is probably them just like getting away from canon so that they can do whatever they want to do and not have to worry about licensing or other legalistic stuff that I don't completely understand.
Yeah.
But like I also feel like it's kind of like tokenism on their part, because like they could have, like I feel like the obvious choice is to just recast, but like they were like, yo, let's bring in a black woman. Like I feel like they were like, ooh, this is our opportunity to create an OC. They're like, let's make it a black OC so that, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's tokenism, you know what I mean? Like, not to say that she won't do a great job, the actress, but I just feel like the CW's reasoning behind it. was like that, you know?
Yeah. Apparently, Batwoman and Superman are gonna have a crossover at some point.
Oh,
So that's interesting.
wait. Okay. So like after Crisis, they all wait. Can we do spoilers for Crisis on here? Can we? Does anyone care anymore?
Yeah. It's been out for a long time. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it.
Yeah. So like they combined all the Earths, right? Like all the CW Earths, they like smushed them together.
Yeah, all the CW Earths are now in one. I think
Okay.
including Stargirl.
Okay. So they're not gonna have to do any like time warp, etc. To for Batwoman to get to Smallville or whatever.
Oh no. It's all in one world now.
Okay.
So like if there's some kind of catastrophe going on in Flash's city, like Superman could literally fly there. Or if there's like a case going on with Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman can just be like, "Hey, pick me up."
Yeah. So now they've got that thing now where it's like, well, how come you didn't show up for X extremely dramatic event? Like when you're watching like the MCU or like the DCEU, like, yo, how come so and so didn't come and help during
Like
during the extremely dramatic thing that was happening?
yeah, like with Suicide Squad, like when the world was almost about to end. Where was Wonder Woman and Flash during all of this?
Yeah.
All of this bad stuff.
Literally, they were just chilling. And they're just like, all right, I'm just gonna sit this one out.
Yeah, and that's why I never really understood that about, multiverse worlds where it's like, there's this horrible thing happening, like especially when it comes to Batman, like when the entire city of Gotham is being taken over by, these powerful kinds of bad guys, and in the back of your mind, like Arkham Knight, Arkham Knight, right? Like
I
the
know
game.
of it. I don't know the plot or anything.
Well, like there's like this major city takeover, and it's like militias, there's tanks, there's like helicopters shooting around, and and as you're watching all this, you're thinking, Superman exists in this universe. Why is he not swooping in and being like, "Hey, let me help you with this, because you clearly don't got this on lock." It's like, that's why I never understood about multiverses.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know. You just have to take it for what it is, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can move on to. I actually want to talk about something. I wanted to talk about something interesting about. Well, no, I want to switch it up from like DC, and I want to go to like Marvel with. So there's been talk about there being a new Black Panther movie coming out. And there's been a lot of talk as to whether or not they're going to replace the original. They're going to replace T'Challa with a new actor, or are they going to, switch it up and have an entirely new character become the Black Panther? So there's been a lot of talk with that. So what do you think?
Didn't they say that like they weren't going to replace Chadwick Boseman? Like they weren't going to like recast his role?
I think they did. I think they were saying that I think they were going to do a thing where someone else was going to take the role.
Yeah, because like I recall that people were like, oh, Shuri naturally is the next in line, but then there was the whole anti-vaxxer thing that happened with the actress who plays Shuri.
Letitia Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she kind of said that She like shared this video of this man talking about being skeptical about the vaccine, but it wasn't like I personally understand people who are skeptical about the vaccine. I'm skeptical about the vaccine because it was rushed out, and so there may be, side effects that haven't been, identified in, the length of time that normally you would take to, do all these clinical trials and stuff. So I'm not knocking anyone who's a little bit scared about the vaccine and what it might do, but the video that she shared wasn't really in that vein of like, be careful, look at the success rates, blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing like that. It was more like of vaccines are bad and they will do bad things to you just in general,
Yeah.
So it was like, it was that kind of thing. So that is very dangerous because, a lot of people are dying right now, and a vaccine can really help people. And, even before COVID-19, like, anti-vaccination mindset can cause harm because, like, herd immunity is important. And when people aren't vaccinated, or when they don't, like, listen to, like, medical professionals, or, like, believe what, like, medical professionals are saying and, like, the work that's being done, like, it can really cause harm to, like, public health overall. So it was really dangerous for her to, like, share that video. So, like, now, so that caused some people to be like, well, it's not responsible to let her step into the role of Black Panther because she is, spreading this dangerous misinformation and stuff that could hurt people, and we want our superheroes to be like role models. So that is, some controversy. But I heard some people saying that oh my god, I'm blanking. I'm blanking right now. Jeez. I literally forgot her name. Hold on.
Wait, which one?
T'Challa's, like, his partner.
Lupita Nyong'o?
Yes. Okay. Some people were saying that Lupita could do it, which I think is also, like, an option. But she's not royalty, unless they say that, like, she married him and then that was off screen, and now I don't know how it works. I don't know how the royal stuff works in Wakanda. So
well, technically it would be where the next child takes over the throne.
Yeah.
But with what Latita said, it's questionable. I hear that Michael B. Jordan is apparently coming back.
Okay. In theory, that's great because, I didn't love him as much as some other people did, but, like, he was good and he was interesting as a villain. Mm-hmm. But logistically speaking, I don't know how they're gonna explain that one because he literally died, and I'm sure they checked his pulse before they did whatever with his body. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that. The way I can see it is, maybe it has something to do with the whole multiverse thing with Doctor Strange. The whole Doctor Strange movie where he'll be going through all these multiverses. So I think that could be one of the ways that they could bring him back, like a different version of Killmonger from an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way I can see that working. Well, no, that's kind of the only way I can see that working. There's probably going to be some other way that they do it, but, I'm not too sure.
Do you have, like, a preference for, like, who you would like to be, Black Panther?
I remember I said I got like two options as of right now. The first option would be, Killmonger coming in, taking over the role, to bring like a new sort of perspective for, I guess Wakanda, because this is like a completely different kind of person from what Wakanda is used to when it comes to being a king, and that could bring in some new kind of interesting dynamics for the characters. And then the second person who I would love to see as Black Panther would be M'Baku, like him taking over as Black Panther.
That's very interesting. I like that idea, because I thought he was very he was fun, he was cool. Not terribly fun, obviously, but like I just like he didn't have that many lines, but the lines he had, like I really loved them, and like there would be good drama as well because the whole like political situation, if they had to deal with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool. And I really like the actor. I don't know his name, but like I saw him in Us as well. And,
yeah,
like,
Winston Duke.
Excellent in Us as well. So
yeah, that's Winston Duke.
Yeah, I literally don't know anyone's name. If the people listening can tell, I don't know the names of people.
Yeah, but I think he'd make a very good Black Panther. Like if they were going to like switch the mantle.
Mm-hmm. He has like insane charisma, which is like my favorite part.
Yeah, I think his charisma would definitely bring something new to the mantle of the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are like my ideas of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since we're talking about Marvel, WandaVision came out.
Yeah, I'm like late to that because like. Yeah, I'm like late. I've not seen anything, so I haven't been spoiled, which is good.
You haven't seen what? You call yourself a Vision fan and you haven't seen WandaVision?
Listen, okay, I got emotionally zapped, okay?
From his death?
No, like I heard some bad things about Paul Bettany, and I was like,
oh yeah.
But don't elaborate because it's gonna make it worse. But I'll watch WandaVision this weekend. Maybe it's Friday. I'll watch it this weekend. Do they do it like weekly, or is it like Netflix where they drop everything at once?
I think they do it weekly. Yeah, I think they do it like a weekly thing. I think they dropped like I forgot how many episodes that I think they dropped maybe one before, maybe.
Do you have Disney Plus? Like, is that how you watch it?
No, my brother has Disney Plus actually.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm watching it on his thing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start watching it on his thing.
Whoa! You haven't seen it either?
Okay, but to be fair, I am gonna start it. It's just that I just didn't get around to it yet.
Okay, so you're like, you call yourself a Vision fan. You literally made a fan edit of Vision, okay? And you're like telling me that I'm not good enough, okay?
Oh wait, I didn't say you were good enough. I said, wow, you didn't see it yet?
Well,
I didn't say you weren't good enough.
I was like WandaVision might be like the last I have left of like any like X-Men content or like good X-Men content because like Disney bought Fox, and Dark Phoenix is maybe the last X-Men movie or like of that era anyways, and Deadpool 3 is going to be in the MCU, which I'm really upset about. So it just looks as though I have nothing left. And this is This is the last mutant content that I'll be getting for a while, so
Yeah.
that I'll enjoy anyway.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I did not know Deborah Jo Roop was in this.
Ooh.
Wow. She played Kitty in that '70s show.
The mom, like.
Yeah, the mom.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that goes ah ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
That's the only mom though. That's like, there's no other moms to confuse her with.
Pretty much. Okay. So, let's see what else. I guess we can talk about just, black superheroes over the years. All the black superheroes that we have had and seen over the years. Like, the most I can name right off the top of my head is pretty much Static Shock and Blade.
Yeah, Static Shock. I grew up with the Static Shock show, which I'm assuming you also did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every black kid in that era every black kid had to have seen Static Shock at least like once growing up.
So wait, did white kids watch Static Shock too, or is that?
I think everyone watched Static Shock.
Okay, because I'm like, wait, did I only?
You thought only? Oh, this is a black only show. I think everyone watched it.
Yeah. So there was Static Shock. There was just like listing off like from like when I was a kid, like Static Shock, and then there was Cyborg on Teen Titans, and Jon Stewart on Justice League, and like legit, I thought Jon Stewart was like the human Green Lantern. I had no idea Hal Jordan was a thing, and when I found out like he was when I found out Hal Jordan was the regular Green Lantern and not Jon Stewart, I was so disappointed. I was like, this is a lie. Like,
okay, but it's funny. So like, that's exactly what I thought.
When people started fan casting for the DCEU and they were all Hal Jordan this and Hal Jordan that, I'm like, who the fuck is Hal Jordan? And why should I care about him? And like, yeah, I was just like, I don't give a fuck about Hal Jordan. I only want Jon Stewart. Like, get out of here. This mediocre white boy. Like, but
like to be fair, a lot of people will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Apparently no one likes Hal Jordan. I think apparently there are some people who don't like Hal Jordan at all, and it was like, yeah, Jon Stewart should be the main guy. Or Kyle Ryder.
But yeah, to be fair, I'm very ignorant about Green Lanterns in general. Like,
oh no, same. I know absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I just found out that they had another black Green Lantern in. I think it's called. It's the black woman who. Wait a minute. What is it called? I think it's called something Sector. Wait a minute. Oh, Far Sector. Yeah, that's what it was. Green Lantern Far Sector, where it's this girl who looks like that one singer. God, I forgot her name. The singer that Tessa Thompson is dating.
Oh, jeez, I have no idea. I mean, I'm seeing a picture of the Green Lantern you're talking about. Now I have to look at who is Tessa Thompson dating.
Oh, yeah, Janelle Monáe. I found her.
Oh, jeez, Janelle isn't single anymore. Rip.
But yeah, she legit looks like, she reminds me of Janelle Monáe, and that's mostly because of the hair. Because, like, that's the hairstyle she wore for a while. Like, if I could, like, hold on. I'm probably going to send you, like, for those who are watching, I'm sure you can just look up a picture of Janelle Monáe, and you'll automatically know exactly what I'm talking about. Hang on. But yeah, that's what she looks like to me for Far Sector.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I sent it in the group chat, what she looks like. Because she's got that, like, that pompadour.
Pompadour?
Except, yeah. Well, that's the one, that's the same one that Janelle Monáe has. Or the one that she wore.
Okay, so this character's name is Sojourner Jill Mullen?
I did not want to say the name because I did not want to mess it up. So thank you for making that sacrifice for me.
It's okay. Mullion? I don't know.
Well, it's
let's
okay,
just say
so
Joe.
That's what
okay.
So
this Joe person.
Joe. So yeah, she is the Green Lantern in a completely different sector. And it's more like it's sort of like a detective story. Like an interdimensional space detective story, more or less. So yeah, that was pretty. I kind of like it. I like the way it looks. At some point, I'll probably take a look at it. Yeah. Thinking of other Black heroes, I know there was Blade back in like the late 1990s.
I didn't grow up with Blade. Like I was like, when did I watch Blade? I was like in college, maybe like sophomore, junior year when I watched Blade for the first time. But yeah, did you grow up with the character?
Yeah, I definitely grew up with Blade. I think I grew up with Blade way back before I should have been watching it. So I know Blade from the first to the third movie. And I thought he was like the coolest dude. Ever. Because, when it comes to superheroes, you always think, tights, cape, and all that. But for Blade, he just wore like a black leather coat, some shades, he had some guns, and a sword. And I just remember thinking that was like the most coolest, edgiest thing I had ever seen. And that is, to this day, he is still like one of my top favorite Black heroes.
Yeah, like when I saw the movie for the first time, like with the whole aesthetic, it was very like it was giving me Matrix vibes, but I was like, I don't know which came first, so like.
No, Blade came first, then the Matrix.
Yeah, did the Wachowskis like say that they were like inspired by that or something? Because it feels like there's a similar vibe to it.
I don't think so. I don't think they were inspired by Blade. I don't think so. Maybe they were.
Like Blade and like the Crow were like reminding me of like the Matrix.
Yeah,
like,
I think
I
it was just.
The Crow recently too.
Yeah, I think it was just like wearing black clothes, wearing like long goth-like black clothes was just a thing back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there was Spawn.
I still haven't seen that. I thought I was like gonna get around to it at some point, which I probably will eventually.
Oh, the Spawn movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that good. Like it has not aged well.
I think I have a pretty good tolerance for like movies that are considered bad generally, so
yeah.
I'll still watch it.
Yeah. All right. Good luck.
All right. Okay.
Oh yeah, you remember? Oh yeah, there was Catwoman too.
I haven't
with like
seen
Halle
that.
Berry.
Yeah, I watched the CinemaSins video for it, but I don't know anything else about the movie.
Yeah, it is something. It's actually not as bad as I originally thought it was. Like if you're expecting to see Selena Kyle, it's not her at all. And if you're expecting to see like references for like Gotham or Batman, like I don't remember if there were any small references to them, but essentially it's only Catwoman in name and aesthetic only.
So, like, the character's name isn't Selena Kyle?
No, it's Patience.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically just another person wearing the Catwoman suit and whip. God, what other superheroes were there? There was Hancock.
Oh my God, listen, I love Hancock. Okay, you don't know how many times I've seen that movie. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. It's like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. So, yeah, Hancock.
It's so good.
Yeah, I liked it too. I feel like it was like it was like one of those movies where it perfectly described what an actual person would be like if they had superpowers. They just get drunk and start flying through things. What else? What other superhero was there? God, I'm trying to think who else. Let's see. I think there was what other ones were there? I'm trying to think of any more, but I think. Oh yeah, Storm. I'm surprised you didn't name Storm first.
I was thinking about her, but like I was letting you go. You know, I was like, all right, let him list some stuff.
Yeah, because I was blanking.
Because like I'm a big X-Men fan, and like I know some people like to kind of say that X-Men movies aren't good or aren't consistent or whatever, but I literally like every X-Men movie. So yeah, I've always enjoyed those
Including
movies.
Deadpool?
Sorry?
Including Deadpool?
Yeah, I like Deadpool. I like the first one. The second one, I didn't like it as much. I don't know why, but I just didn't.
I like the second one more than the first. But I think I don't know why. I think it's because, like, the second one just felt a little more, random in some part. I don't know. I just kind of found the second one a little more funny. Which is weird because I only watched it once and then never watched it again.
I don't know. I don't remember. I think I definitely laughed more at the first one. But, yeah, I don't know. The second one just didn't grab me as much. Maybe, like, the first one was, like, more dramatic. Because, like, I don't know. The reason I like the X-Men is because of, like, the X-Men, like, stuff is because it's kind of, like, it's earnest, but it's also, like, at sometimes it's campy as well. And, like, and it's humorous sometimes as well. So, like, I feel like the first Deadpool, like, had those things that I really liked. And then the second one, just, I don't know. I don't remember it because I only watched it once. I watched the first one, like, twice. But the second one, I watched it once, and I haven't felt, like, a desire to rewatch it, which is, like, also unusual because I usually like to rewatch X-Men movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't vibe with it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays for Black heroes, we got Black Falcon. Did I just call him Black? Wait, what's his name? Is his name just Falcon? Did I just call him Black Falcon?
It's just Falcon, yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, well, wait, who am I thinking that's Black Falcon? I don't know.
I've never heard of a Black Falcon.
Hold on, let me not.
To make sure there's no Black Falcon anywhere.
Please tell me that wasn't his original name. No, it was just Falcon. That was his original name. I don't think there ever was a Black Falcon character.
Yeah, there is no Black Falcon according to this quick search here.
Okay, good. All right.
Falcon in DC.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Black Vulcan. Why was I thinking of Vulcan? I don't know. Oh yeah, there was Black Vulcan, which is Black Lightning, but more embarrassing outfit. Yeah. Let's see. Of course. Oh, you know what? We haven't talked about? Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Spider-Verse. Oh my God, how have we not talked about Spider-Verse yet?
I feel like we're kind of going chronologically, weren't we?
Yeah, I guess we were. But yeah, Miles Morales, Spider-Verse,
Yeah.
aka greatest Spider-Man movie to ever exist. And I say that as someone who has watched literally all of the Spider-Man movies.
Same. I mean, I don't know. I've never tried to rank them. Because like when we started doing our like watch of them, I started to realize that like some of them, the only reason I love them so much is because it's like nostalgia, you know? So like when we were watching them in sequence, I was like, oh, like, you know, this is more like a nostalgia thing for me than like actually thinking it's like a really like better than other ones, you know? Because I like all of them. It's just like ranking them. Like I started to realize like, oh, this is just because, you know, I watched it so many times and that's why I like it better than the other one. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not even gonna try to rank them because, you know, I don't even know anymore. But all Spider-Man movies are good in my opinion, except for Far From Home because
Far From Home.
Ethically, it's fucked. So I cannot support that movie.
Wait, ethically?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean ethically?
Like, can we get into the spoilers? Or when did the movie come out? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years. I think, everyone has seen it by this point.
Okay, so, Far From Home ethically is fucked up because, like, they just shat on Tony's legacy. They just completely OOC'd him, like, out of character to him after his death, which is just the worst thing you could do. They made him literally make a drone that will assassinate anyone on the earth, give it to a 15, 16-year-old child. The whole movie was about Tony again, just like Homecoming was, which is really frustrating as a Spider-Man fan because it goes against everything that Spider-Man is supposed to be about, which is about this kid trying his hardest to individually do something good. And, you know, they just turned him into this like pampered Iron Boy, like like pampered Tony disciple. And like there I saw this like I think it was Nick who shared it in the group chat, like this link to Andrew Garfield like perfectly and succinctly explaining why Spider-Man is different than like someone like Tony Stark because he's a working class hero, right? He's like the rest of us. He's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man because he knows what it's like to be working class, to be you know, economically disadvantaged and to just grow up in a regular environment and just want to do something right by people. And the MCU has turned him, and it's really solidified this with Far From Home. They turned him into the opposite of that. Like, basically, like, he's not even on our level anymore. Like, we can't even, like, relate to him. And he literally has the power to kill everybody. Like, true, he destroyed the technology at the end of the movie. But, like, just from, like, a Tony perspective, it's so disrespectful to say that Tony would make something like that. Because he just wouldn't. Like, literally, in Iron Man 3, he had this arsenal of suits, and he destroyed all of them at the end of the movie because he's like, yo, like mentally, this is bad for me. Just like ethically, this is bad for me. Like, Tony went through so much character art to unlearn his stupidity, okay? Because Tony was stupid. He was a really ignorant, heartless guy, and all of his movies are about him learning how to stop being this shitty warmonger that he was, okay? And for them to just turn around in Far From Home and be like, so Tony made a drone system that will assassinate anyone on the planet. Like, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, stop. You know? It was just so wrong, you know? It was just wrong. for Tony and for Peter. Like, the movie was disrespectful to the both of them, and that's why I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to shit on you about this. Fuck Tony Stark, first of all. I just wanted that to be perfectly clear before I went on. Because I get what you're saying with Far From Home. I feel like the problem with when it comes to Spider-Man is that they keep making him into Tony Stark's sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry. They keep making Peter into Tony Stark's sidekick, and it just feels like he's no longer Spider-Man anymore. Like you said,
Spider-Man. His villain isn't even his villain.
Yeah, his villain.
They took the villain away from him, and they gave it to Tony.
Yeah, basically. Well, technically, Tony created his villain.
Yeah, but that's also the writing. You know.
Yeah.
Like, the Homecoming villain was also like a Tony villain, quote unquote, because Tony also created that villain. Tony created Vulture. And same thing with Far From Home. Tony created Mysterio. So MCU Peter
created Ultron.
Yeah. MCU Peter literally has not fought his own villain yet. He doesn't have a villain that is just his and their problems are their own. You know what I mean? And it's just really frustrating. Because Peter has really good villains, you know?
Yeah.
And Mysterio, I was really excited because Mysterio is a really cool character. And
I love Mysterio.
You know, I was like, yo, like, I don't trust the MCU at this point, but, like, at least Mysterio is going to be cool because, like, the suit looks good. Because, you know, you're not really sure if it's going to translate well off the page, you know? Because it is
I'm surprised that it did, though.
Yeah, but it actually looked good. And I was like...
I was surprised.
Yeah. So, yeah, they just kind of disappointed me a lot.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't even, like, when it was revealed that it was all, like, fake, because, I mean, that is Mysterio, though, you know? None of his magic is real. It's all, you know, smoke and mirrors. That's always been, like, established. It's just the fact that it came to be because Tony called it a really insulting name, and now he's a bad guy for it. Like, it just feels like the MCU... It feels like the MCU just kind of continuously shits on Spider-Man. Which is why I am extremely worried for when they have... For if they ever get to Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Like, because... Like, we've seen it, because we've noticed that they've taken a lot of cues from Miles Morales for this version of Peter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know, having the Asian best friend in what's his name, and, you know, him, I forgot what his name was in the movies.
I feel like it begins with an M, maybe. I don't know.
Was it
Nick?
Was it Marty? Was it Nick? Was it Nick?
I feel like it was M. MCU. Oh my god.
Peter's friend.
The guy, you know, him. Can't find anything here. I just look up the cast list, shouldn't I?
It's Ned.
Ned. There you go.
Yeah, it was Ned. And Ned is essentially just Genki, but not as smart. So there's that. And then there's the fact of Peter going to this... Because I don't remember if in the comics Peter went to... And Peter obviously went to, like, a lot... Like, he obviously went to, like, public schools, you know? He clearly went to, like, a public school that wasn't, like, you know, always up to date with textbooks, and it wasn't always, like... Like, it's the type of public school that you would see in, like, more like infamous neighborhoods. Like, that's the type of school that Peter probably went to. But Miles pretty much went to a much better school because of his like academics. So he got like accepted into like a prestigious, I guess, private or public school.
It's private, right?
Yeah, I think it was private. I think
because they got uniforms, and that's not as common here in the U.S. anyway for a public school.
Yeah. So now they got Peter in like a similar school, and it just feels more and more apparent that this Peter is just Miles Morales light.
Yeah.
But like literally light.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the Far From Home suit too. So.
Yeah.
Like the color scheme.
Mm-hmm. It's just I don't know, cause they did like a little reference in Homecoming to the existence of Miles in the MCU, but like if they introduce him, which I don't trust them for anything now anymore. I haven't for a while, but if they introduce Miles, I don't know what they're gonna do other than like him and Peter be like OMG twins and like literally be the same person because that's what they did. You literally wrote that they're gonna be like the same person because you've made Peter Miles,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they'll just be like Jinx, like every 20 minutes they'll just jinx each other and like that'll be the thing.
Yeah. Another big concern I have is that they are going to. I feel like they're not going to. I feel like they're just going to make Miles. They're going to get someone who is like really, really light skinned, and I don't want to that's probably like colorist, but I feel like they're going to find like the whitest black kid they can find.
No, it can't be colorist if you say it, dude. Because you're dark skinned, so like it's like reverse racism, like it doesn't exist.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, I feel like they're gonna do that, and I feel like they're gonna try. I know they're probably going to touch on the fact that Miles is like half black and half I forgot
Puerto Rican. I mean, black and Puerto Rican. Is his mom black and Puerto Rican, or is she like non-black?
No, the mom's Puerto Rican, the dad's black.
Yeah. So is she? Because like in Spider-Verse, I couldn't tell if she was black or not, but I was like.
Yeah. She was speaking Spanish, so.
Yeah, but like there's black Puerto Ricans. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think she was. I think she was just Puerto Rican though. I think. I don't want to mess that up.
I'm checking it right now. I'm checking. I'm trying to read this without spoiling myself because I haven't read the second half of Ultimate Spider-Man yet.
Oh.
But
I also just thought about it. How are they going to do the suit for Miles if Peter's already wearing black and red?
I don't know, man. This is what they should just leave him alone. Just don't. Just leave him alone, okay?
Like, just do an alternate universe thing. Which is why I'm thankful for the game being the way it is. Because the game, Miles Morales does a really good job at making him different from Peter, which is, I feel like that's the most crucial thing. If the MCU ever decided to, adapt Miles Morales, they have to make him different from Peter. They cannot make him like Peter at all.
Well, you know how they're bad? They just copy paste personalities and like all the time.
Yeah.
They're just gonna copy paste. They're just like, seriously.
Like they're gonna make Peter a little more mature, and then have Miles Morales be like the Civil War version of Peter. And that's how they're gonna do it.
Civil War Peter. Like, I wasn't even terribly happy with it. Like, But he had some good moments, and like I'm just like, dang.
Yeah, speaking of Civil War, I liked Civil War Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like Civil War Black Panther felt more, terrifying, like this dark entity that just keeps showing up out of nowhere, like, I'm gonna kill that white boy with the robot arm. Like, he just keeps coming in out of nowhere, just being like, I'm gonna kill you. Like,
I feel like it was the fighting, like the choreography and stuff. Like it had no weight to it. Whereas like in Black Panther, like it was more like CGI, and so like it. I don't know.
Yeah, it did feel like that. Plus, his suit was better in Civil War.
Yeah, it was a lot better.
Yeah, but I'm both scared of how they adapt Miles, but I'm also scared at how they adapt the Prowler. Like, if they are going to adapt him, because they already introduced him into the MCU, so the person playing it is like Childish Gambino, and I don't know if Childish Gambino would come back for that. Maybe he would. I'm not sure.
Wait, really?
What?
Childish Gambino was the uncle?
You didn't see him?
Wait. Yeah. Oh my god. I thought you were talking about Spider-Verse. I forgot.
No.
Yeah, the MCU uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was like, I thought you were talking about Spider-Verse, and I was like, that's not his voice. He has better voice acting skills than I thought. No, sorry.
No, but yeah, I don't know how they're gonna adapt the Prowler with this, or if Childish Gambino will agree to come back.
I mean, he might. There's money involved.
True.
A lot of people who you wouldn't think would get involved with the MCU have gotten involved in the MCU. So.
Yeah, like Christian Bale is now a part of the MCU.
What's he doing?
Christian Bale?
Yeah, like what's his role?
Oh, he's a villain in the new Thor movie.
Is Taika? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's still in it.
Rip. Rip.
Yeah. But I guess time will tell at this point. I'm just cautious. I'm just overly cautious about the future of Miles. I don't even think they're going to introduce him anytime soon, because Tom does not look old enough yet to be considered an adult to be taking on a mentee. Yeah, a mentee. But and I know there's some versions where both Miles and Peter were like the same age, but like even then, that wouldn't, like, Peter's only been Spider-Man for less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
because of Endgame, where it's been, I think, how many years in Endgame?
Wasn't
It's
it
been
like 2 years, like a year and a half or something like that?
Yeah, it's been like a year and a half in their world, but for Peter, he's only been gone for like a couple minutes, so he's literally still probably 16. So yeah, so it would be weird if he took on just took on young Miles Morales now. That's probably more like down the road, if the MCU is still making movies down the road.
Honestly, I wonder when the fatigue is going to set in, or like if there is going to be any fatigue at all, because like, people can only get inundated so many times, like Godzilla, they literally, like, the first movie came out in 1954, and I think it was 1954, and like there was a certain period when they were literally making a movie every year, or like literally every year they were putting a movie out, and people got tired of it, so like, even if you're making money and like you have a fan base, like, that is not going to stop people from getting, like, tired of this franchise. Like, the MCU has been pumping these things out. And, like, at some point, people are going to get fatigued. But I feel like COVID has maybe, like, thrown off the life cycle of that because it has given people, like, a break. And so now there might be, like, a resurgence, and we may be, unfortunately, in for, like, even more mediocre movie. So, yeah, they might just keep going, and then eventually, like, maybe, like, after the next arc, which I don't even know what the next arc is supposed to be, but after the next arc, maybe they'll bring in Miles or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm worried about... I'm so worried about Miles coming in. Because I know I'm not gonna like it. Like, that's not even up for debate. I know I'm not gonna like it, and yet, you know, I'm waiting with bated breath to see how they do this. But, you know, at least we... Oh, yeah, go on.
No, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, no, you can go on. I'm still thinking about what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I'm, like, trying not to think about it, and instead, like, on, like, the spider side, I'm just focused on what Sony is doing. Because they've got, you know, they've got another Spider-Verse in the works. And they've got, like, the cool kind of, like, it looks like a villain-verse, maybe, that they're going to do with, Venom and Morbius and maybe, like, Vulture as well. So I think it's going to be cool what Sony is up to. So, like, with the MCU side of things, I'm not, like, I'm trying not to think about it, or, like, I'm not too worried about it, because I'm like, you know, at least Sony is going to be making good content, you know.
Yeah, true. Like, and the thing about with Sony and, you know, their Spider-Man, like, I'm just hoping that the MCU doesn't mix with them. Like, just keep, like, there's no, like, because the MCU, for some reason, people want everything to be in the MCU, which I find is, like, not everything has to be in the MCU, just, like, not everything has to be, you know, in the DCEU. You know, it's fine for things to just be separated and to just keep it like that, but...
Yeah. As, like, an X-Men fan, that was, like, my biggest gripe, and something that, like, I was bitter about when Disney finally got Fox, because, like, as an X-Men fan who does not have a problem with the franchise, okay? Because there are people who, like I said earlier, like, people who say that, like, X-Men is stale and it's not good and it's inconsistent and stuff, but, like, I never felt that way. Like, yeah, there are variations in terms of, like, the quality, but, you know. But as an X-Men fan, like, there were people who were like, oh, I can't wait till MCU saves the X-Men franchise. I'm like, we don't need saving. We have bomb movies. The Gifted was a really good show. Legion was fantastic. One of the best television shows I've ever seen. And, what else was on TV? Was there something else on TV? But, yeah,
Cloak and Dagger? Was Cloak and Dagger in the X-Men?
No.
Oh.
But, yeah, I was like, we don't need saving from the MCU. Like, the MCU is the MCU, okay? And X-Men is
MCU is just McDonald's.
And, yeah. Like, especially because, like, these people are, like, praising, like, mediocre films and being like, OMG, like, MCU needs to absorb X-Men so that good X-Men can come out. I'm like, get out of here, okay? Like, it will literally be the death of X-Men if the MCU mixed into it, okay? It would be over. Because Age of Ultron, like, I know you and I both have love for that movie because of Vision and, you know,
well, okay, but I don't love the movie. I just love Vision in the movie.
Yeah.
Let's make that... Let me just get that straight right here and now.
Okay, but, you know, Vision was in the movie, so, like, you know, we can both vibe with it to varying extents. But, like, they had mutants in the movie, so, like, they had Wanda and Pietro, but they wouldn't like acknowledge they were mutants, which is fine by me because I'm like, at one side I'm like bitter about it because I'm like, they're not Jewish, they're not mutants, like, you won't let them be. Wait, was it? Yeah, Jewish, right? So like I was like, you won't let them be anything, but like, but at a certain extent, I was like, okay, like it's good that they're not like saying that they're mutants because then I don't want these people like dragging X-Men into this, But like. People were just like, OMG, like, these mediocre MCU movies are so fantastic. And, like, if only X-Men could be part of it, they would be good, too. And I'm just like, oh, my God, you're so deluded. Like, Because, like, X-Men is more ambitious. It's more emotional. It's more earnest than, like, a lot of the stuff that MCU has been putting out since, like, Phase 1. So I feel like I will take any X-Men movie over a typical mediocre MCU film.
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest worries I have when it comes to the MCU is I feel like they're not going to embrace what the X-Men represented. Because I remember, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not like very knowledgeable of X-Men, but I remember the reason why the X-Men, in terms of like the series, was created was because they wanted to. I remember they wanted it to represent, people who have been marginalized.
Yeah, it was like kind of like a representation of like the civil rights movements that were going on,
Yeah.
So like. Yeah, just like civil rights in general, like that's what X-Men like exemplifies, and like it like for like different people, I guess like you can identify with it how you want to, So like if you if you're LGBTQ plus, then like you can identify with it that way, or like if you're a person of color, like whatever, like X-Men like represents that.
Yeah, I remember one scene in, I think it was X2.
Yeah.
Where I forgot, was it the ice guy?
Yeah, it was Bobby.
Yeah, where, his parents sat him down and was like, we understand what you are, and, something. I don't remember what they said verbatim, but it was like, it was so surreal to see.
Yeah, she was like, have you tried not being a mutant? So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that the MCU wouldn't be, I feel like they wouldn't really hit that same chord.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would be as light as possible without stepping on any toes.
Yeah.
Because the MCU has already proved to me that they will go that length, especially with Doctor Strange and the casting for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, MCU, I just don't trust, because like X-Men to me is like, I feel very emotionally attached to it, and like I'm not under the impression like X-Men is just like gonna change the world and like bring understanding to humanity, like like I understand that like it's entertainment and like people will just like take it at face value, but like to me like it stands for something,
Yeah.
Like, because like the characters are involved, like Magneto, and like when you look at like X-Men First Class, right, and like Magneto and like the suffering and like the anti-Semitism and all of this stuff that they touched on, and just like the topics that like they have touched on in X-Men, and like yes, like it's action and stuff, and like they don't always get very in depth with stuff, but the topics that they touch on in X-Men, like the MCU would not do that,
Yeah, I hear
like
what you're
they
saying.
would, like politically they would tiptoe around it, or they just wouldn't go near it at all,
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just not a good idea if Disney is gonna like try and impose their like lukewarm takes on X-Men, because like I'm like X-Men is not really the place for like that kind of that level of like like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you mean. Like X-Men is the type of series where you can either, it's okay for X-Men to be funny. You can have funny moments in X-Men, but you also have to take seriously what it represents for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you half-ass that, you're going to end up with a lot of angry people. But I feel like the MCU is at such a powerful place where, like, if hardcore MCU fans watched it and were disappointed by it, they would be saying, how bad it is. But, the majority, which are mostly all MCU fans, will probably praise it for, being a funny, action-packed superhero movie.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, maybe like since they've gotten like Deadpool 3, like maybe they'll be satisfied with just Deadpool because like they can make jokes with him and stuff. And maybe they won't touch the rest of it or like try and get too political, which is fine by me because like if you're not gonna do a good job, just like don't do it. Just like stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Because like I know they're not gonna. Like if they were gonna try to be political, I would hold them to a standard. But since I know they're not, would rather they don't do anything.
Yeah, same. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm like, I was excited when they announced Blade, but at the same time, I remember this is the MCU, and now I am like extremely nervous.
Yeah.
Because they got I forgot who they got to play Blade. I think they got Marshall. How do you pronounce his name?
Blade. Anytime there's like cool news coming from the MCU, you like get excited, but then you're like, oh wait, it's the MCU.
Basically, and that's how I felt with Blade.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor. But yeah, he's a good actor. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so just to, I guess, fill the airtime while Al is gone. Yeah, I think the Blade movie, like, I haven't seen any, like, I don't know if they've released any first looks actually on that, because I haven't really been following the MCU news. But I feel like at least aesthetically it could be very cool. Like the kind of stuff that they maybe like the costume designs and stuff. I don't know how the plot is gonna be, but aesthetically it might be fun to watch.
All right, I'm back.
Hey.
But yeah, what you were saying, like with the costumes and the aesthetic, I don't even know how the aesthetic would be, because Blade's pretty dark. Like, even if you go by like the past movies, Blade is a very dark sort of realm of Marvel, and nothing in the MCU has really shown me that they can be able to handle dark. Like, I just don't see, like, maybe if it was the Netflix version of, the MCU, then yeah, they could probably handle the more darker stuff. But, the MCU, I just can't see them doing a good job with it.
Yeah, we haven't seen, like, dark aesthetics since, like, I want to say Phase 2. But
yeah, Phase 2 was pretty dark. Like, in terms of, like, I guess Winter Soldier was pretty dark. I think Winter Soldier was more of a thriller.
I was thinking of, like, the Dark World, actually, like, the horror and stuff.
Oh, yeah, like the Dark World. Well, no. Blade is very different from the Dark World. Blade would fit better.
Oh, I thought you were literally talking about, like, the color scheme and the cinematography and stuff.
Oh, well, that too, I guess. But Blade would probably fit better in, like Daredevil or The Punisher. Like, that's more of Blade's world. like basically the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
That is where Blade would probably fit in better. But to see him in the MCU, which would mean that vampires now exist in the MCU for some reason. Like, vampires are now a thing in the MCU, even though we've never, like, seen any. You know, I guess they're going to say, oh, because Blade's been hunting them all for so long that you barely see them anymore. I was like, okay, whatever. Whatever you say.
I haven't put that much thought into that, actually. But now that you're saying that, like, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be weird because, like, the MCU is very, like, sci-fi oriented, and, like, the magic stuff, like, they kind of back away from it, you know?
Yeah, magic in the MCU is, like, more scientific than, like, actual magic.
Yeah, like, everything has to have a scientific explanation in the MCU. Like, even, like, Thor and stuff, like, they're like, well, it's magical, but it's science. Like, it's magic science. Like, the only time they, like, kind of embrace, like, the spiritual / magical aspect was in Doctor Strange. So...
Yeah. But even then, that was more so just multi-dimensional, different dimensional kind of magic.
Yeah, so, like, they really have, like, backed off of, like, the fantasy stuff. But, like, with Blade, there's, like, kind of no way to get around it.
Like, unless they make it so... the only, like, one way I can see it is if they made some sort of, like, sci-fi drug that has you craving blood like a vampire. And
yeah, okay, now that you say that, it makes me scared that that's what they're going to say. They're going to be like...
So, like, has this drug existed for, like, the way I think I know how they would actually do it. They would have this, like, sci-fi fantasy as, like, Deacon Frost, he's the main guy in, like, one of the main enemies of it. They would probably have it to where Deacon Frost is an alien from, like, another dimension, from, like, another world where his alien species sucks blood, and he'll pretty much, you know, go all around turning different random people into these vampire-like entities. And then what they're gonna do is one of those entities ends up, you know, one of the possessed ones comes after, you know, Blade and his family. Then his family is, you know, transformed, and then they die. And then Blade's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start hunting them, you know, because he has a military background. So he has a military background, and that's how he knows how to fight. And then he's gonna get like a sword, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, cool sword," and that's how Blade's going to be hunting these alien vampires.
You, like, literally are, like, the most, like, talented person at just, like, predicting how the MCU plots are gonna go. Like, the way you said it, I'm just like, literally, that is what they would do.
Because that's how, I'm so used to MCU that I sometimes know exactly how they're going to do things. Like, to fit, because I had to think about, okay, clearly there has to be something pro-military in this. Because the MCU is very pro-military. So I'm thinking Blade, before he became a hunter, he was, like, in the military, like, discharged or something.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the only way I can really see that, how it will work.
Yeah. Literally, every time the MCU announces a movie, you should just, like, put out a tweet and be like, this is the movie. This is the plot.
Basically. But I don't know how it's going to be. Okay, so you said you got to go at 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can talk about, one more thing, and then we can go ahead and end it here. I don't really know what else to talk about in terms of Black-related stuff. There's a lot to talk about, but, like, none of it's coming to mind right now. I know they're making a Naomi show, so that's interesting.
Let me just look up what that is, because I don't think I know.
Naomi. It's a new character.
Oh. From where?
Oh no, she's like a completely new DC character.
But that's what I meant, like DC, like which company?
Oh yeah, DC.
Is it McDuffie? Like, is that her last name?
McDuffie? Yeah, Naomi McDuffie. So she's gonna get her own show on, I think, the CW. Yeah, and it's being adapted by Ava DuVernay, the person who's apparently making New Gods.
Is that still happening, New Gods?
You're asking the wrong person.
Because, I thought, but then I didn't think, but then,
Honestly, I have no idea, because 1 minute, like, I have no idea what's going on with New Gods right now. Like, she hasn't really said anything about it. I haven't seen anything that would say she's still attached to it. Like, it's just safe to assume no. Like, that's where I'm getting at from this.
Yeah.
And with everything that Ava has said so far, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not, like, terribly, like, like, I don't like her anymore, so, I still hope the movie gets made, but as for, like, Eva in particular, I'm not, like, gunning for her or anything, like...
Yeah. Like, with the things that she said on Twitter, it's questionable.
Yeah. For the listeners, like, one of the things, like, this is the thing I saw. I don't remember, like, what other things or, like, what other stuff she might have said. But the thing I saw was, like, she was kind of saying, like, black people, like, the onus is on us to vote Biden into office. And if we don't vote him into office, it's our fault what happens to it. Like, I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, like, yeah, that is what she said.
Yeah. So it's just kind of screwed up to say that. You know?
Like,
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to get, like, political or anything, but then again, we've been political this entire podcast, like, throughout the years, so
yeah. I mean,
but, like,
it didn't exist if you can't be political,
But what happened, and if you blame just black people in general for being the reason why who got voted in, it just undermines the main issue that it's not just black people's fault about what happened. It's just a majority of people wanted one guy and they didn't want the other. And that's how it happened.
And, like, even it's kind of insulting as well, because so many middle class white women voted for Trump, and various other non-black demographics, and it's mostly, like, when you look at, like, progressive push, it's usually black women who are making those things happen. So it's like, how can you blame black people when we are the ones who are pushing progressive movements forward, or helping push progressive movements forward, and not mention the white people who are, majority voting for the undesirable candidate, in terms of, like, if you're on a progressive side,
Yeah.
or, like, the lesser desirable candidate.
Yeah.
Depending on how you feel about it.
Depending on how you put it. Yeah. But, yeah. In terms of Ava, I wouldn't be surprised if she was no longer a part of it. Not because of what she said, but just because, nothing's happening.
Yeah. Like, maybe she's not even, like, into the project anymore, and she just wants to do something else.
Yeah, like that Naomi show.
Yeah.
So now that
fine.
Yeah.
People should be in projects that they can actually do, and that they want to do. So if it's not moving, then, better just either let somebody else have it or just give up on it and focus on something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what was it? I forgot what I was going to talk about in terms of. Well, I mean, even if she doesn't do it, at the very least, we have, Zack Snyder's Justice League as, a New Gods kind of thing.
Yeah. Because we're going to see, like, some of those characters, and we're going to see more aliens and stuff. So this.
Yeah, we're going to see Darkseid, Danielle's weird crush. Desaad.
I was just like, his Desaad is this, isn't it?
Yeah. Desaad.
And Steppenwolf and stuff.
We're gonna see Steppenwolf's ass.
His flat ass.
His flat ass. Yeah.
I mean, at least Clark has the cake. Clark has the alien cake that we're looking for.
Well, you never know. Maybe Darkseid might surprise us.
I mean, maybe.
Only time will tell. You want to just end it here then?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the podcast here. Thank you guys for being a part of this. This was definitely a new thing for us to do. And if you want to hear any more, you can always, like, comment with this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the Bitter Geeks Podcast channel to hear more of us talk about bitter, geeky stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and say my farewell. Again, this is Al. And I'm, what is I keep forgetting my Twitter name. I do not know.
I should, pull it up for you.
No, I'm already on Twitter. I should probably write. Okay, yeah, I got it. So you can reach me at almostart25. My @ is almostalrtc on Twitter.
And you can find me at Rebecca_MJ12 on Twitter.
All right. And with that, we will be saying our goodbyes. So until next time, see you later.